That's a lot of weight to lose in 3 weeks.
It was like 24 pounds in about 3 weeks. So when I was fasting, I was surprised how not hungry I was. I finally now feel like I get to enjoy life. Like, you'd have no idea how happy I've been, like, and I have no doubt it's because I've been fasting and just finding it just so peaceful.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, we have a special guest. Ashley is here to share a little bit about her health and wellness journey. So, if you guys are interested in learning more about what she was able to accomplish, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, that's coming up next. All right. Ashley, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. So, let's dive right in.
Mhm.
As I mentioned earlier, I like to try to get an idea of what was some of the big outcomes that you got. Like for you, what were some of the things that really stood out that you accomplished during this time that you were achieving your wellness goals? And we'll just give people a little bit something to nibble on, so they know why they need to watch the rest of this interview. So, tell me a
Okay.
little bit about what you accomplished.
Um, so I was able to accomplish about it was like 24 pounds in about 3 weeks, I would say. I feel like I've completely changed my perspective on life from the time I started the JR 72.
Mm.
I started that until now. Like I feel like I am leaps and bounds ahead, and I don't think it I would have been this way without fasting. Like just working out wouldn't have done it. I might have lost the weight, but how I feel mentally and just internally, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Mm. Well,
um okay,
24 pounds in three weeks. You probably couldn't have did that at the gym, huh?
no, I couldn't have. I've been to the gym. It took me like months to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. So that's excellent. The mental part of it, the
Mhm.
mind state, that is something that people often overlook, especially early on in their fasting journey. But I think that, in my opinion, it's like more crucial actually, because when we talk about maintenance and being able to maintain the results we've gotten, that definitely takes a lifestyle change. So
I
fasting is a great opportunity to help facilitate that.
I agree.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, where you were mentally when you originally decided that I guess you wanted to start fasting, or you wanted to lose weight, maybe you just stumbled upon fasting. Tell us a little bit about where you were, why you felt like you needed to make changes.
Okay, so I've been fasting for a long time, mostly doing intermittent fasting. I had lost a bunch of weight before doing intermittent fasting and doing OMAD. Obviously, life kicked in, and um, and all the weight came back. Um, Essentially, I was feeling like, I'm a clinical massage therapist, and being in this field, you kind of well, I kind of started feeling like I can't touch people if I'm not feeling right inside of my mind.
Mm,
Um, so I knew I was already on the journey of just trying to develop myself spiritually and doing whatever I felt like I needed to do. And when I came across a healthy alternative, I was like, so I know about fasting, but I don't think I knew all of this. And it never crossed my mind to do a long-term fast for some reason. Like intermittent fast was okay, like, but it never really crossed my mind, and I never thought I could do it. Never thought I could do it. Um, but so at the beginning of the year, I was gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight, and I knew that I didn't want to keep gaining weight, and I knew I didn't want to be this big forever. I knew I had to figure out a way to get the weight off and just keep it off forever, because I knew that up and down and just being that way and all together is just not good for you. So I knew I had to do something. So I just jumped in one day.
Yeah, fasting's one of those fundamental practices for a lot of us, but I think that well, for me, I'll say when I was younger and I was doing fasting, I definitely never did it for any type of weight loss or health reasons. You know, it was always for spiritual benefits and I really didn't understand it very well. So I was actually really shocked, you know, to
Yeah.
find out, let's say it's been about 10 years now when I really kind of start first messing with fasting and I realized that there was all these physical benefits and mental benefits that I just never had highlighted before. So, doing the long-term fasting, understanding I guess now that you've done some longer fasts, you understand more holistically the benefits of fasting. Do you think that you're going to be looking to push a little bit more into fasting, play with maybe even longer fasts or what's your ideas around fasting now?
Okay, so I do want to double back with about the mental clarity. I didn't think that I would get this much mental clarity either.
Mm,
Like, so um I was diagnosed years ago with, like, I think it was like clinically depressed.
okay.
I feel like that doesn't exist anymore. Like, I don't know what that is. Like, and, like, even like the way that my mind works is just so different now. And like I said, like I didn't realize I could get that from fasting either. Like I just like, oh, I'll lose some weight. I was watching the videos about the mental clarity, and that's what kind of really pushed the envelope and be like, yes, you're gonna do it. Just do it, if for no other reason, just to see what that's about. So I did it. So I don't remember the question now. The other
No,
question.
no. I mean, well, first of all, I think that's a good point, right? Like, a lot of people don't realize how beneficial fasting is for mental clarity, especially if they're dealing with some form of depression. I had depression as well, and mine was is more of a like an undertone. So it wasn't like so overt, but
Mhm.
in retrospect, when I went through the fasting process, I realized I was depressed, and I realized I was not depressed anymore. So
Right.
that's a huge benefit. But my question was really just now that you understand, like you've got a glimpse of the benefit of fasting with a long program, are you going to be looking to delve deeper into fasting in the future?
Yes, so I actually plan on doing, I'm trying to do 21-day, like, hybrid fast in May,
Okay.
because I don't know if I can do the whole 21 days.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm thinking I might mix some dry days and some juice days in there just to make sure I make it all the way through.
Hmm.
But that yeah, I'm definitely, I'm, like, telling everybody about it. I'm trying to get people to join me on this fast that I plan on doing in May.
That's what's up. Yeah. So, oh, go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying.
I I'm a big fan of hybrid fasting. I think that if you're either new to like doing really long term fasts, or if you just want to get the most out of your fast without having to worry about maybe like the stress of work, or especially if you're really physical, hybrid fasting gives you the option to utilize juice in case you need it. And it's part of the plan. You don't have to feel bad or whatever about it. You know, the pure water fasting is amazing, but especially when you're just getting into it, I think hybrid fasting makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that you could definitely do the 21 day of water only if you want to. Like we actually just had a interview go out where a young lady did the 21 days of water only. It's pretty incredible. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to watch. So, what are some of the I call them off benefits? You mentioned like the mental clarity. You mentioned the weight loss. What were some of the off benefits that you got from fasting? More things that maybe you didn't expect. Um, did you deal with cravings? Are you more motivated to eat better? Things of that nature. Like, what were some things you kind of experienced?
So I experienced, like, so when I was fasting, I was surprised how not hungry I was. Um I just knew that if you told me I couldn't eat for 3 days, that I was gonna be hungry.
Mm.
I was like, "You couldn't have told me that, like, I wasn't gonna eat," but I was very surprised at how not hungry I was, how satisfied I was when I was doing the juicing, like, just juice, water, and tea. I was fine all day, all like 3 days straight, I was fine. Um, I was surprised at how proud of myself I was,
Mm.
because it's like when you say fasting and I'm going to intentionally not do something for 3, 4, or 5 days at a time, something I'm so used to doing, you that can create a huge mental block. And I was so surprised how easy it was to fall down. Like, I kid you not, like prep week, like I told you, prep week was crazy. Like, I did not follow prep week right at all, but I knew I can do it. So when it was time to go into that 3 days of juicing, that was it. Like, and I was so surprised that I did it like that, like, because I didn't think I could. Eat
Mm.
like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm hungry," but, like, there was something in me that just clicked when I started doing it that I found amazing, and it has not stopped, because even when I start eating again, I'm like, "Okay, I'm feeling a little way, I think I need to start fasting again." It's so easy to start all over again. And,
Mm.
like, I think that that's the best part ever, is that now that I know that this is something that I can do and that I can be consistent with, it's piece of cake.
It's a tool in your belt.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
awesome. I'm, like, so grateful for it.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I experienced as well. It was
Yeah.
like what I used to think about early on was, okay, let's just say that anarchy happens, right? Like the system, the government breaks down, or we go into civil war. All the stuff they were kind of saying. Even still now, World War III. We don't have proper supplies. We don't have a food chain. We don't have all these things. And I'm like, bro, I could fast. Like worst case scenario, I can fast if I need to. And I found it extremely encouraging because those are some of the things they use for fear mongering tactics, and just understanding that we're much more self-sufficient than we're really led to believe. That's like very empowering. So you went into this. We're gonna look at exactly what you did, because you said you participated with the R72, right?
Yes.
Okay, was this your first challenge with AHA?
Yes.
All right. So you didn't do the prep properly, so we won't talk about that part too much. But
It's breaking up.
Oh, what exactly was the challenge like? What were the steps? What did you have to do? Like, and what was your experience like in the group?
Okay. So, you mean, like, when you say my steps, like, are you talking about, like, the prep week, like, what I did to get ready for it, like, that type of
I'm
steps?
I'm I mean, I'm asking. Well, you said you didn't really do the prep. We could talk
No.
about that if you want to, but
Okay.
but I was asking what you did. Like, pretend like I didn't run the challenge. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Tell the
Oh, okay.
audience. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, so, basically, I signed up for the challenge. I got an email that had a nice little booklet or what to expect on the challenge, giving us ideas on, like, different things that we can do, like different juices and stuff. Um, so we had access to some classes, just some little short videos, again, just on different things to expect while fasting, that were pretty informative. And essentially we had calls, wasn't it like every other week, where we would discuss the journey so far, what we're doing. Um, the group being in the group was awesome, honestly. I think that literally, probably being in that group changed my life. Just being on the AHA, like being on that platform, period, I think changed my life, because um people were in there talking about mirror work, and I decided to get the book, and life has not been the same since, and I'm
Mm.
grateful for that too. So I think that having that community, is something that I appreciated during the challenge, because gave me the opportunity to see that I can do it because there were people in there that have done previous challenges and they've been successful, and that showed me that I can do it. There were people in there that were struggling, and it gave me a chance to say, "Hey, I thought I would struggle, but I'm not, and you can too. You can just keep going, and even if you do struggle, you can do it." And that sense of community is what I think like really set it over the top,
Mm.
because for me that's something that I've always looked for when I'm doing like when I do these sorts of things. Like, am I doing it with somebody, or am I about to do it have to do it by myself? If I got to do it by myself, that's fine, but it would be nice if I had somebody else to talk to while I was doing this. So between the meetings and just you guys making yourself available to us for any questions, comments, just concerns that we had, I think that was just like paramount. And although like some of the stuff I really didn't utilize, I did definitely benefit from the talks. Like I still have some of Steven's little printouts, and I definitely did everything. Like I was writing. I'm still writing every day. I'm so proud of
Mm.
myself for that. Like it's just so much that has changed. Like I wouldn't like I'm on day like 65 of my writing. I've been keeping
Wow.
note how many days straight that I've been going. And that never would have happened without mirror work.
Mm.
Like, so it's like so many things. And like I said, like I never thought I would have been able to get stop eating for 5 days straight. You have ate Ashley for 5 days? No. You haven't. So 4 days is the most I've done with dry fasting. I haven't ate like I would tell people that, and the looks on their face would just be like I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm still energetic. I'm still about this life. So would you yeah,
Right.
it's nothing.
The dry fasting really throws people through a loop because the conditioning says you can't go 3 days without water, and then it's like I think it's supposed to be 3 weeks without food, if I'm not mistaken,
That
something
sounds
like
about
that. And so how do you dry fast for more than 3 days without dying? You know what I mean?
right.
um I actually did. I did 6 days of dry fasting while I was still working a construction job. I was working at a school locally, and what's crazy about it is typically when you dry fast, you don't want to be in a dry, dusty environment, working, going up ladders and stuff. And I mean, I was literally doing everything wrong, and I still was doing it. And so it really goes to show you how powerful the body is. Now, I'm not going to say that I would like promote that. Usually when I tell people to dry fast, I'm like, do the opposite of that, right? But I had been fasting for years at that point, and I wanted to really push it. But it really just lets you know like what the body is capable of. But you said some pretty key things that I just want to make sure that we highlight. You said that the community, being in the group, just being a part of the group was essential and very beneficial to you. And then the things that you learned, some of the tools that you learned while you were there around mirror work and journaling and things of that nature. I think that people can very easily overlook something like that because when you join a challenge, it's the thing about a challenge is you still got to put in the work, right? It's not a done for you program. I can't lose the weight fast for you. I can't fast for you. So there's a little bit of fear sometimes or anxiety around joining programs because people are like, but what if I don't do anything? Yeah, what if you don't do anything, right? You'll get no result. That's how it always is, no matter what. But there's a large motivating factor when you're in a group of hundreds of other people who are of the same mind. And, getting that unique interaction with them, you really just don't know what can come of it. So I'm very proud of you. You're still writing. I mean, the writing thing was one of the things that I learned before I ever started fasting. Really, I learned the benefit of writing because I didn't used to do it before. And I write. If you compare me now to me 15 years ago, like I write 100 times more, 200 times more than I used to. Like it's not even comparable, really. Um, what was the from writing every day? Like I don't you don't have to share necessarily specifically what you're writing, but what is encouraging you to write, And what do you think you're getting from it?
What's encouraging me to write is knowing that whatever I'm getting stuff off my mind, I'm getting stuff off my chest, whatever I'm feeling, this is a safe space for me to get it out.
Mm,
Nobody's judging me. I'm not even judging myself. I'm just I'm just getting it out. And mirror work, I started like I journaled before, but it was never consistent. But when I started doing mirror work, I decided to write the days on the page, like this is day one, day two, day three, whatever. But I obviously just kept going. So that's been encouraging, like just knowing that I'm keeping a mental tally and seeing that I'm accomplishing something every day
mhm,
is mind boggling. It's encouraging, like knowing that I'm writing things in my journal, I'm writing things in here, and then it's coming true. I'm
mm,
writing things like, I want this, I need this to happen. This is the future. This is what I want for my life. And then I just found the school that I'm about to go to that's all the way in some other state, but it's exactly what I wrote down in my journal for but my plan for my life, and it's all in one place. Like, and I found it like 2 days after I wrote it, all because I had the wherewithal to write it down in the first place. That's what brought it to mind to even start looking again.
mm,
Like, it's making things come up, and because I wouldn't say forced, but because I told myself if I cannot eat for 3 days, I could for sure do 21 days of mirror work.
mhm.
That's what I told myself. So that's what I did. So that's encouraging. Like, and I wrote that. Like, that's what I've been writing, like questioning myself, just making sure I'm exploring myself and answering my own questions, trying to
Yep.
figure it out. Like, like try to figure it out. That's all. Like, I mean, that's all we can do anyway. But just feeling more encouraged and like just knowing that I can do it. Like seriously, like that's just been everything to me. Like if I say I'm gonna do it, I can do it. And look, I did it.
Right, right. It's almost like you create it's like a checkpoint, milestones, timeline. It's very easy to just say, I'm going to do XYZ. You don't write it down. You don't tell anybody. There's no accountability. And then you could literally get busy with life or whatever and you forget, or you just consciously, I don't want to do it anymore. And there's no one or nothing to keep you accountable. But I find that when you write things down, not only is it a sense of accountability, but it helps keep that desire or that
Mhm.
outcome on the forefront of your mind. And when your
Right.
mind when you have a desire for something and it's on the forefront of your mind, you're constantly tuning into a direction or a path to get you to that outcome, you know? So it's a really powerful tool, and I'm glad that you're seeing such benefit from it. And it's just amazing to hear that it came from being a part of this challenge. It's something that, you know, it's just like it's so far down the rabbit hole. It's like I'm and I'm not saying this is you, but some people might join just strictly for weight loss. Like
Right.
that's their goal. Or maybe they got, diabetes or, some type of heart issue or something that they want to work on. And that's their focus. But if you allow yourself to be open to the process, you could get so much more. And so I think you're highlighting, just one of those benefits that people would never really think about.
Yeah,
You-
and I
you're not-
agree. And you said something about accountability there that was important. Because that's what the community does as well. Like even though nobody's there physically in your house saying, "Don't you eat that? Make sure you finish all that juice. Make sure you," like nobody's doing that. We're all in there trying to encourage each other to do so. And we know
Mhm.
again that that's a safe place where if we do fall, we can come say it in here. People are going to hold us accountable, but they're also going to give us tips and tricks on what worked for them when they were having a difficult time, which is important.
Mm.
Like it's so hard doing some of this stuff because people feel like they don't have nobody to talk to. And I know that to be a fact. So that's like so important. Like having that accountability is so important, and knowing that you have somebody that you can be accountable with and for is important. And I feel like that's what the community gives a lot of people. It really does.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I was actually just talking about it on a live stream recently. I was like, man, I wish that I had the AHA community when I very first started fasting. I did have a version because I always fasted with my brother, John, who he was one of the first people I brought on the platform. But we were just we were just learning. Like we didn't know what was going on. We were taking notes, and that was the beauty of kind of blazing the trail. Like it was fun. We were learning. Like we were so tuned in. Like what's happening? Why is it happening? Let's test this. Let's push the limit here, and but being able to have a resource where you could be like, hey, I'm struggling in this area, whether it's detox tongue, which is a huge one, or cravings, and be able to say, hey, I'm struggling here. What is this? What can I do? Because like understanding why you're dealing with what you're dealing with, I think helps you overcome it. Like literally just understanding the why, but then having tools like when I started my journey, I didn't know what essential oils were. Like I had no idea. I was so mad at my female friends because come to find out later, women use essential oils. Y'all use them for baths, y'all use them for headaches, y'all know. But like none of my female friends ever told me about essential oils. Um, and that could have been a huge benefit to me, when I started. So could you describe for us like what you actually did? Because I mean you that's a lot of weight to lose in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So what did you actually do? How much juice were you drinking? Were there certain juices that you kind of stuck to? And how long were you doing this cycle, the JR72 for?
So the JR72 started Feb January 28th. We did a prep week, and then I still got the calendar on my refrigerator. And then I think it was like 3 weeks. It went to the end, February 28th. So pretty much, like I said, I didn't really do that well on the prep week because I'm used to fasting. I'm pretty much a pro at intermittent fasting. Like I can do that all day. I can do that in my sleep. Like that's nothing.
Mhm.
So I wasn't worried about like just stopping, like, because I was already intermittent fasting anyway, so it wasn't nothing to really do. Um, so I pretty much did what I do, which is I'm gonna eat what I want to eat because if I don't, I'm going to go through this process feeling like I should have ate that. I should have ate this. I should have did this. I should have did that. So I did what I do. That works for me. It don't have to work for everybody, but that works for me.
Mhm.
um, but I got all my little cravings out during the prep week, and then I think we started on a Sunday. The following Monday was the first juice day, so I prepped 2 days worth of no 3 days worth of juice on Sunday. Being 64, got one right there. A
Okay.
64-ounce mason jar of juice. I had three of those, so I would just pour out of each of them for each day. And I ended up doing a half a gallon of juice each day, one being a fruit juice usually, and one being a green juice. I would do 32 ounces of water and 32 ounces of the appetite suppressant tea.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Did you
And
did you find that prepping so did you throughout the process, did you kind of prep 2, 3 days ahead of time, or did you
Mhm.
start doing it fresh, like, daily?
Oh no, I couldn't. I'm in school right now, so I can't do that.
Okay,
So I
okay.
would definitely prep. Like I said, I would juice at least 3 days worth of juice at a time, so I wouldn't have to really worry about it while I was on that juicing cycle. And during that refeed day, that's usually when I would be like, okay, let me try to make sure I'm juicing stuff. Or if I had a day off, then maybe I'll juice ahead of time or something. But I would always try to make sure that I timed it so that like when I was supposed to be juice that I didn't have to really think about it. So it would be
Mhm.
like, okay, I just go in the refrigerator, I get it done. I'm not having to think about it. So I'm like literally not allowing a craving to hit because I'm prepared. Like I'm literally
Gotcha.
like it's right there, it's right there, it's right there. And then I would drink the appetite suppressant tea if I'm like, okay, I'm getting hungry. Let me drink the tea. I'm gonna sip the tea now.
Gotcha, gotcha. Hey, they say people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So I think preparation, just having your stuff ready, I think it makes sense, especially for something like when you're going into something new, you've got school going on, you've got life going on, prepare. Um, did you when you said you did half a gallon of juice,
Mhm.
was that just all you really needed, or was that kind of like you knew, okay, I'm gonna just do half a gallon of juice every day?
Um, I felt like I wanted to make sure I was still drinking water, and since I bought the herbs, I was like, I might as well use the herbs. So I
Oh,
wanted to make sure that I used the herbs as well. So I guess I didn't juicing. I'm a mother too, so I'm like I don't have time to be doing too much. So I'm
okay.
like a half a gallon. That's all I can do because the time constraints with actual the juicing amount in my juicer. I don't have. I need one of them fancy ones that I could just throw the whole fruit in there. So maybe I don't have to do so
Yeah,
much chopping.
man,
That's probably to save some time there, but
for sure.
so
I, I
that's why I just did the half a gallon a day.
Okay. I remember when I very first started juicing. So like the thing about the juicing is a lot of times people they kind of get discouraged by the juicing, the time and the effort and the energy that goes into it. So I really appreciate the fact that you're, speaking from a standpoint of somebody who did the juicing. And yeah, that was my thought too. When I very first started juicing, I was like, man, I gotta get. I think I found one. It was like $1,500, and it just takes the whole apple, and it just spits out the juice at the other end. I never ended up buying it, but I did look into them.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you did this cycle for a couple. Now, what did you do on your refeed days? Like, what were your refeed days like?
Refeed days were usually I know you it was supposed to be raw, but I didn't do raw.
You're okay.
Um,
Just tell your.
the challenge with all the challenges, refeed days are suggested to be raw. However, it's always do what feels right for you. So I did what felt right for me, which usually was mostly a lot of salads, like maybe like some beans here and there, like things like that, maybe some rice, but it was never anything like no fast food. I wasn't eating fried things, wasn't eating any sugar, no sweets, no anything. Um, I would pretty much eat my one meal. I would eat one meal a day for the most part. Um, well, that one meal, I would eat that one meal on the refeed day, and then I would pretty much start my fasting right after that meal again.
Okay.
So that was it. Like I would try to eat as clean as possible. I just ate beans and stuff, beans and
Mhm.
rice, a couple pieces of bread.
Sneak some bread in there. But I mean, you're doing OMAD, so that's
Yeah,
you can get away with that type of stuff.
right.
Um, did you find that you weren't feeling satiated? Like, what was the mental around juice for 3 days, eating just one meal, and then going right back into fasting?
I was surprised how satisfied I felt. I felt like the juice um helped out a lot because it I started noticing the textures of juice and things like that, so it became oddly satisfying.
Yeah.
So it was, and then I noticed that when I drank certain juices, if I was thinking about a certain food, that juice would kind of take it on sometimes. It'd be so weird. Um, but I felt very satisfied. Like, and even on the days that we were supposed to refeed, there would be days I'm like, I can actually keep fasting. I can keep going, but because you said not to, I wouldn't. I'm like, I'm stick to the plan. um, but that no, knowing that I felt that I could keep going definitely is what encouraged saying, you know what, once I got off the RJ 72, I went straight into 5 twos, like straight in, like, and I knew I can do it. Like there was no doubt in my mind just because how satisfied, how not hungry I was feeling. Now, like even if I did have a craving, knowing that like I could just chill out for a second, drink some juice, and it'll pass.
Right.
So it was cool. Like it was really nice.
No, that's nice. The desire to want to continue fasting is strong, and I understand it. I understand it well because, like, I've been through this process. But one of the things that most people struggle with, and this is, obviously my challenges are designed for the general public. Most people struggle with eating, right? Like typically, if you're dealing with 20 pounds, 30 pounds or more of excess body weight, it's because you struggle with eating. That's generally what it is. And what I want to do is encourage people to build a better relationship with food, as you through from the training and everything. So I appreciate you going through that process. But it is encouraging because you're like, man, I could keep going. So now you have this curiosity, like, okay, let me see, let me push like that's something that I find happens with a lot of people. They accomplish something they think they couldn't accomplish or just never thought about, and then they're like, well, how far can I push this thing? So once you completed your challenge and everything, you decided to start doing the 5-2. How
Mhm.
did you go about doing the 5-2? What were you doing, juice, or were you doing strictly water? Was it dry? Like, how'd you approach that?
So again, because I'm a mommy and I'm in school and I work. When I started, I was like, I'm just gonna do some water. I'm gonna try to do like water for 5 days, just make it easy for myself. Day one, I did water, and I was like, this is a lot. I'm full. I don't know. So the next day I was like, how am I gonna try dry? I'm gonna try dry. So I did. I was like, okay, cool. And then I was having my past life regression with Jonathan. So I was like,
Okay.
I want to dry fast for that. I want to go into it really, really clear. So the
Mm,
next day was the past life regression. But I was feeling so okay with not eating, with not having water, not having anything. I was like, I'm gonna keep going with dry. So the next, I did 2 days of dry that week, and then the next 2 days it was like juice, water, tea, for the remainder of the 2 days, and then I refed fed. And then the next week, I was like, if I can do 2 days of dry, let me go for three.
mm.
So I pretty much just kept doing on with that until I got to 4 days. And after it got to 4 days, it was 4 days dry. I drank juice, water, and tea on that fifth day. And then I, like sometimes ease into my refeed days on the weekends.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I would notice though, like since I've been fasting, like even though I do crave the food sometimes, and maybe I even eat it, it doesn't taste the same.
Hmm.
And that encourages me to not want to eat it
Right.
because it doesn't taste the same. So it's like the allure, the joy, whatever I thought I was getting isn't there. It don't even
Mhm.
taste the same. Some of the stuff is like it's like this is actually nasty now.
That's it. That
Like,
that's it right there, like, that's where you wanna be.
like,
Uh-huh.
yikes. Like,
So
right.
so early on when I asked about off benefits, this is one of them. Like,
Right.
yeah, like losing your desire for foods that aren't serving you. That was actually something that I happened to me as well. Like, I tell this story of, you you know the Hostess cupcakes? They come 2 in a package, they got the
Mhm,
yellow icing and stuff on them.
mhm,
Yeah. So, back in the day, I used to eat those, not all the time or anything, but every once in a while I'd have one. So I started going through my fasting process. Now, mind you, I hadn't had a Hostess cupcake in years at this point. I don't eat them that often, but I started doing my fasting, and I don't know. It was just one of them days. I think I was just in the grocery store and I just saw them, and I was like, okay, yeah, why not? I haven't had one of these in years. It When I tell you it was so disgusting. Like, now it was probably really extreme for me too because like I hadn't eaten them in years. But
mhm.
literally all I could taste was chemicals. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
It just Go ahead.
so that reminds me when I was like after I started, like I was like I wanted some waffle fries for some reason, so I went and got some frozen waffle fries. I put them in the air fryer, ate them, and I was like, I literally taste the rancid oil. This is gross, and I
Uh,
was like, is it like really?
mhm.
I was like, "This
Yeah.
is crazy," and I knew it's because I've been fasting. I was like, if I hadn't been fasting, I never would have been able to really taste how gross this is.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah,
it's,
it's
it's
nasty.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's amazing though. It's amazing what can happen to your taste buds or what can happen to your body once you like clear it out of some of the gunk. Like
Mhm.
you realize you don't want the gunk in it. You don't want to keep putting gunk back in it.
Yeah. And so this helps to really stow that flame of maintenance, lifestyle change, and also continuing to make progress. Because like the wellness journey is a work in progress. There's really no end destination. You're just constantly working towards, but it gets better for sure. It gets
Right.
easier, and like I know some people. It's so easy to like use this as a way to discourage you. Like I don't want to lose my love for XYZ. You know what I mean? But you also got to remember what that food or what that thing is doing to you, like how it's actually affecting your body. Because if you let's say if you fast and you kind of clear your taste buds and you go to eat one of your favorite foods and your body rejects it, that means there's something in there that's poisoning you, it's not for you, it's not benefiting you. So why would you want to continue to indulge in that thing? Like, you gotta, and I'll say this for me, I actually did not want to anymore. So for example, I used to love, well, I love ice cream. I'm a big fan of ice cream. And I used to buy half a gallon every week. It was part of my grocery list. So when I started fasting, I was like, I guess I can't eat ice cream anymore. Like I actually just came to terms with it because when I was fasting, I was also learning about the food, the dietary change, and everything like that. And I really wanted to go all in. I wasn't just using fasting as a tool to like do get XYZ result and try to put it all on fasting. I just wanted to learn about health and wellness. And I thought I had to give up ice cream, but then I come to find out that you can make ice cream from any natural fat, like any cream. So I started using coconut cream to make homemade ice cream, and it's an absolutely phenomenal. So I get to enjoy my one of my favorite desserts, but now it doesn't hurt me anymore. And when I eat the in the past when I've ate the old ice cream because I just don't eat it anymore, I would be my nose would be running, my stomach would be aching, and like I knew ice cream did that to me, but it was so good I was like I'm gonna just take the pain. So it's like by letting go of the past like that, my desires and the things I liked, not only what am I healthier for, but I found a better alternative, you
Right.
know? So I don't know if you want to delve into this at all. It's completely up to you. Do you want to talk about your past life regression, what you gained from it, what it is? You want to talk about any of that?
I will say that I think everybody should do it. I think that it's very insightful and it could be very informative for the person, like for yourself. So I definitely encourage people to do it. For me, it answered a lot of questions about why there's certain patterns that I have in my life, and even just giving me perspective about why I do some of the things that I've done. It just gave me a lot of perspective. It gave me um it just gave me a little hope. I don't know why, but it gave me a little hope. Like knowing that whatever that was, that's not what is.
Mm,
And it's like that past life regression, something about it, it was like giving myself permission to let the past be the past.
mm,
I found it to be very, very helpful.
gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting. My John introduced me to that. Man, it's the guys who 4.5, 5 years ago, maybe. I don't know, such a long time ago. Because he actually got one performed, and he was obviously blown away at what he uncovered, and so he was so encouraged by it, he decided to start studying it and performing it. So I encouraged him because he started studying it, and then he was just kind of like, man, I don't know how the AHA community would respond to this. I'm like, look, we're just gonna give people the option, and if it resonates, they'll reach out and they'll do it, and if it doesn't, then they won't. Like, but my goal is to create a space, a safe space for people to really share their testimonies and what they experienced, what therapies worked for them, and everything's not going to resonate with everybody, but you never know how one therapy can alter someone's path or their life or their wellness. So it's up to, in my opinion, it's up to us to just share, and if it resonates, good. And if it doesn't, cool. You know what I mean? Everybody has different beliefs and things of that nature. But I definitely saw the benefit of it. And so I'm glad so many people, John's worked with so many people from the AHA community at this point, and everybody's had such a unique and beneficial experience. So I'm glad to hear that it was beneficial for you. I do want to give you an opportunity to share anything that we didn't touch on, anything
Mhm.
that you felt was, beneficial, or just, something that came to mind that you wanted to go ahead and share about your journey so far.
I did. I actually wrote a note about it because I was like, I want to make sure I mention it. I've
Good.
been doing that a lot lately. I like literally again the benefits, the benefits, the benefits, the benefits. I just started writing to do lists and making sure I'm checking it off twice. Like it's amazing. Like once
Mm.
you start, I would say to people, start doing something, because once you start accomplishing something, you want to keep feeling like that. And you're willing to just really start challenging yourself so much more once you start feeling that sense of accomplishment. So
Mm.
do stuff like whatever it is, do it. Also, um, because I don't know, I was watching something, but the thought came to mind that there has to come a point where we're willing to experiment with ourselves again, like where we're willing to just try something just for the heck of trying it. Being willing to experiment with yourself and not just trusting that all these benefits that I say that I'm getting, do it for yourself and see how you feel at the end of it. You might be surprised. You might get a completely different result. And that's good because that's the result that you were supposed to get. And I think that that's like really, really important. Like, please start experimenting with yourself. Do something. Start doing something so you can start feeling that sense of accomplishment, because that's what's really going to help you start taking off like a rocket, like for real.
Mm.
Like, I've been feeling that since I started massage school. Like, oh my gosh, I'm back in school. I'm doing something. I'm learning this stuff. And everybody, y'all over here struggling, and I'm having an easy time.
Mm.
All because like the mindset that I went into it with, because I knew I had to do something. And I picked it up real easy, and I felt so accomplished, and that's what made me keep going, studying, making sure I paid attention when I was in class. That just that sense of accomplishment. So experiment and start feeling doing something to have that sense again. Like I think you know, we I think I heard you and John talk about it in one of your previous interviews. Or it's all over if you talk about it. Somebody's talking about it. That sense of exploration got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that through fasting, I've regained some of that sense of being willing to explore again.
Mm.
Like like you'd have no idea how happy I've been, like, and I have no doubt it's because I've been fasting. Like I've completely changed the way I view myself. I view the world. I would sit back here when I'm dry fasting and just look out the window because I can't fathom nothing else to do, and just finding it just so peaceful.
Yeah.
Like stop feeling like you just need to be on the go, go, go and doing stuff all the time. Sit down and be peaceful. Fasting will allow you to have that opportunity. I promise you. I didn't want to watch
Mm.
TV while I was fasting. I didn't want to stay up late because I knew that would be a trigger for me. That's just gonna make me want to eat. So let me not do it.
Mm.
Let me not even sit in my living room because that's just gonna make me want to turn on the TV. And then I gotta look at the kitchen. So that's just gonna make me eat. So let me go look at downtown Chicago and birds and power lines instead. whatever it takes. That's what I told myself during that fast. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. And I may not do it to the T, but that juicing part I'm gonna do to a T. That fasting part I'm gonna do to a T. And
Mm.
I knew it, and that's what I did. And it's been transformative, like so transformative. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Wow.
So grateful.
That's such beautiful emotion. Yeah. That's the beauty of, they try to say, um especially when it comes to like depression. See, a lot of people, most people, I would say, in our society have a level of depression. They're unaware of it. I looked at mine as like a rain cloud that was like constantly over my head, and you could tell the difference when it was removed, right? Obviously, I didn't know you beforehand, but I can tell that you have a high vibration. Like, I could just tell from the moment that I saw you, I could just feel it. And it is so important to get there, because it really does change how you look at the world, how you look at people, your appreciation for nature, and it helps to build your spiritual journey, and just feeding different parts of yourself, being able to, one of the fear mongering tactics they use against us is world hunger. I don't know how much propaganda they use nowadays and how much they put towards it, because I'm so removed. But when I was younger, world hunger was a major thing. You used to see it on TV all the time. Now I'm like looking out the window, and I'm like looking at nature. I'm in my garden, and I'm seeing the abundance. I'm like, there's no such thing as world hunger. Like, it's manufactured, it's created. Like, it's not like it has to be this way. And it just changed my whole outlook on things. So having that breakthrough, I can understand how empowering it is, how much of a weight off your shoulders it could be. And it's incredible. And I think the dry fasting's probably helped a lot too. Like, dry fasting really helps to bolster, um, some of the things that you're experiencing on the more spiritual side. So I really appreciate you sharing your journey, and just being so raw with us. Where do you want to go from here? Obviously, you mentioned the 21-day challenge that you're gonna do, try to get your friends and family to join. By the way, what has your interaction been with your, like, friends or families? Like, what do they think of what you're doing and the benefits you've got?
um I'm not I was about to project, but let me not project. Um I don't really know, honestly. I think some of them are like when like they hadn't saw me in a while, and then like when they saw me again, it was like a noticeable difference,
Hmm.
and it was like, oh, I think my family is the type that they don't really want to ask what you're doing. They
Okay.
just like I think they just figure I'm gonna tell them.
Okay.
And of course I did because look, you can benefit too. I actually I'm trying to figure out how to talk to my auntie about her cortisol level.
Okay.
I talked to her about fasting and juicing, but she didn't want to hear it. But I keep talking to people about it because it's like, look at me.
Hmm.
Look at my, not just look at my weight loss, but look how I'm maneuvering. Look how my outlook on life has changed. Look how when I come over, I'm a lot more bright and bubbly. I'm a lot more outgoing. I'm a lot more willing to just do a lot more now. Like, isn't that proof positive enough that what I'm doing is working? So I just keep trying to, with my family, I keep trying to let my life be an example. With my
Right.
friends, on the other hand, they're a little bit more, you know what, I see what you're doing. A lot of them are just being honest and they just know that they're not ready to commit to such things. And I appreciate it, but I still try to encourage everybody to add things. I have gotten a couple of people to add juicing to their repertoire of things to do. Like one of my teachers actually started juicing after I came in with a bunch of my juices. She started juicing because she wanted her
Nice.
husband to lose some weight. But I have generally noticed that like a couple of people in my class started changing the way that they come in and eat sometimes. So I think that that's cool, especially the ones that want to change and want to do things different. They would come and some of them will come and ask me questions, and I always think that that's cool.
Mhm.
But other than that, I think that people are taking notice. Like one of my sisters said she did 3 days of juicing before, and I'm like, hey, now you know you can do it again, and
Right,
you can
right.
keep going if you wanted to. So I'm like, I'm trying to make myself available to people if they have questions, if they want to know what I did. I'm stay directing people to the AHA. So because I'm like, they know more than I know. They probably answer. They got videos that answer that question. I'm just gonna tell you what they told me anyway, or I'm gonna tell you what I've experienced because I've
Yeah.
done it too now. So like at the end of the day, like I just keep trying to. I tried my best to put it out there as much as possible. And as far as what's next, again, the 21 day fast, I'm gonna try to. It's gonna start as 21 days. It might go to 30 because I want to do this other challenge. Hopefully, fingers crossed. This is something I'm trying to do called an identity shift. So I'm trying to incorporate these things, which is obviously necessary.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's for 30 days. So that's why I says I'm starting for 21 days, but it might extend to 30 days just to incorporate the fullness of that both of those sorts of types of challenges.
Mhm.
So that's what's next for me. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, just keep being that light. I think that's the way to approach it. Look, when I what I've learned about family, because people think, especially if you've really been with me for a while, like you've seen how
Mhm.
many siblings and family members have come on, and people think, dang, Chris, you got your whole family. No, I don't. Not even
Mm.
close. Like you're
They
just
hard to
seeing
get to.
they're hard.
They
You're
hard.
seeing the ones that decided to make the change and share, but with family, you love them so much, it can almost be detrimental sometimes if you depending on how you kind of approach it. So I just do my thing. My siblings, they do their thing, and those who see, they see. For those who want to make the change, they change. And if you have a question, you can ask it, but I don't put a lot of energy into trying to like convince them or anything of that nature. And I found that to be the best way for me to approach it because I get very attached to
Yeah.
people's, situations. It's like you got type 2 diabetes. We can literally knock that out in 2 weeks, or I'm not
Yeah.
2 weeks, in 6 weeks. Sorry.
Right.
Um, or even 3 months or 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. It just depends on the person, but you could do it in a short time frame. We'll say that. So it's hard to watch my family members struggle with certain things, and I know they don't have to. Um, but at the end of the day, there's so many people that I have encouraged, that you have encouraged, that you'll never know. Like one of your colleagues or one of the other classmates, you might see that they start making little changes, but you don't even see how they had a whole conversation with somebody at home, and that person was like tuned in, like it was something that they were looking for, didn't realize it. Now they're doing it, and you don't even know that person.
Yeah.
So you're having an impact on people that you'll never know, which is great. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. It is.
Thank you so much for coming and joining and sharing. I think this has been very insightful. It's been a much needed perspective. We don't have a ton of people coming on talking about juice fasting and the benefits, and then the natural progression of wanting to challenge yourself more, and doing the dry fast and everything. I think that's been really insightful. Do you want to give people a way to reach out to you, whether it's Instagram? Obviously, you're on AHA communities. Like that's up to you if you want to put that stuff out there or not.
So funny. I actually don't have any social media. I've been off of social media for like almost 3 years now. I literally only have YouTube and the Mighty Network. That's literally it.
Okay. Okay. Nothing wrong with
And
that.
that's
So
necessary. The people, that's necessary. Hint, hint,
yeah.
wink, wink, audience. If you really want to start detoxing your life, Get off social media for a while and see how you feel. I
Mhm.
promise you might not, you might, once you stop realizing that you don't have all everything about your life don't have to be put out there for everybody to see, you start really living your life. At
No,
least
that's
that's what I started feeling.
I agree. Actually, I I always say that if it weren't for the fact that I had the AHA brand, I wouldn't be on social media. Like my personal social media platforms are just dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're dry. Like even on Facebook, like my actual profile page is dry. I don't even remember the last time I posted it. Maybe it was last year sometime, maybe. So yeah, I agree. And you get off of it and you don't miss it. Like when it's a natural thing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make this decision because people are addicted to it. You know, that's really what it is. And that's what they want. They want you to be addicted to these platforms.
Right.
But when you get off of it and it's like, this is what I want to do, you figure it out. Cause most of us, we come from a time frame where the internet didn't exist. Like we're
Right.
not, so
Like
what you
we
do
we read
before,
books. That's what we did before. We read books. We went outside. We
went
wrote.
outside.
We journaled. We drawed. We did those things that you're supposed to be doing. Like using your mind and trying to be
Yep.
creative and figuring things out for yourself instead of thinking somebody's supposed to figure it out for you. That's what
Yep.
we did. Just going back to that.
Yep. Just going back. That's it.
All right,
So
that's it.
Um, thank you for joining us. I really look forward to seeing the comments and everything. It's one of my favorite parts about doing interviews, seeing the comments and hearing that one person. There's always that one person like, this was the best interview. Like, it changed my life.
I
Like,
hope so. Like, and
yeah.
because I'm one of these people that like if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Hmm.
Like, I love sugar. Sugar was my thing. I
Hmm.
still dibble and dabble every now and again, but I'm starting to realize that it's really cocaine. Like, that is cocaine.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but like it's just these things are not worth it at the end of the day. Like it's so not worth it. Like even if you still dibbling and dabbling like me, we're gonna realize over time it's not worth it, and we're gonna stop dibbling and dabbling. I'm here to encourage you that it's gonna be okay. It's a journey for a reason. We call it a journey for a reason, and we have to
Hmm.
start being okay with it. Like I'll end it with this. This is my beautiful thing that I've realized over the last week is that I finally now feel like I get to enjoy life.
Mm.
It's not something I gotta do. I get to just enjoy whatever this day is, and I live in that now, and I'm so grateful for that.
Mm. There you go. Yeah.
it
Listen, that's huge. You get one
is.
shot at this life, right? Enjoy it.
And when I tell y'all, like when people who worry about manifestation and worry about timelines, I just told y'all my timeline. I don't think 3 months, 3 months is a long time to start feeling completely different.
No.
And it really happened within a month.
Hmm.
You just have to be consistent with yourself long enough to pay attention to it. Now I'm done. I'm sorry.
There you
No,
go.
I'm gonna quit.
No, you got it. Thank you so much.
No.
It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been
Uh,
a pleasure speaking with you as well.
if you guys enjoyed this video, you got something beneficial, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.